Okay, hi there everyone. Good afternoon. My name is Nav and I'm the UK country manager for One Office Group London. It's good to see people joining from all over the globe. So for the first part of the webinar, I will be discussing how to set up a company in the UK and some of the things you need to be aware of. Also joining me today is Pedro from NEAT. Let me quickly pass it over to him so he can introduce himself.
Hi everyone, it's a pleasure to be here. As Nav said, my name is Pedro Pinto. I head up growth and I'm the European General Manager for NEAT. So I'll take you through our business banking alternative after Nav has introduced how to set up a business in the UK.
Okay, so I think back to me. Just before we get started, I want to check everyone can hear us okay. Just type anything in the chat box on the right. Okay, so we'll have a question and answer session at the end of our presentations. Feel free to leave any questions at any time in the chat box and we pick them all at the end. Okay, so let's get started. Why start a company in the UK? So the UK is one of the largest markets in the UK. If you expect to have customers in the UK, it makes sense to be close to them. This is especially true for online sellers, where delivery speed is key. Customers do not want to have to wait for shipments coming from other parts of the world like China for up to 60 days. Also, it's relatively easy to do business in the UK. It has a good legal environment. There's protection for both customers and suppliers. On the world stage, it has a good reputation, both historically and currently in business. So the UK is situated between both Western and Eastern time zones. This allows a global business to provide continued services. Also, the UK benefits from a large, skilled global workforce who are mainly English speaking, so there's always plentiful of workers. There are also helpful tax grants and reliefs available. Grants can cover capital investments such as plant and machinery. For companies involved in research and development, you can receive grants for the cost of activity, such as expenditure on salaries, outside contractors, and software, etc. costs. I think one of the biggest points is probably Brexit at the moment. The negotiations are still ongoing, so we don't know what kind of deal the UK will receive. I think one of the benefits that can come out of this is the increased flexibility. So it might be beneficial for the government as they can quickly pass regulations instead of having to go through Brussels to pass anything through. This might allow businesses to thrive quicker. Okay. So during COVID, we have seen a rise in the number of inquiries. Potential clients are looking to set up companies in the UK, and they might be looking to expand their existing customer bases. Also, a lot of people during COVID have lost their jobs, or simply they're just looking for a new challenge and are looking to start up a business as a secondary income. They're turning to online businesses, such as selling on Amazon marketplaces. The key reason is there are less restrictions on trading and the cost of investment is small. During lockdown, Amazon had doubled its sales, which shows the demand of online sales, and I don't think it's going to stop. Also, with flexible work practices, employees could work from anywhere, as long as they could log into their laptop. So we had a few cases, where clients, they've returned home and then they were expecting just to stay maybe 6 weeks, but this has kind of turned out to be 1 year. And so there might be tax obligations in the other country they live in when they moved abroad. Okay. So what are the aspects to consider? I think the most difficult part is probably coming up with a unique company name. You need something that's going to be catchy and stand out from the crowd. You can check for free if the company's name is available on the Companies House register. It is good to research your new business. It is important to know the markets you're entering, the competition there, the local tax rules if you're operating in different countries, etc. Creating a business plan will help you do this. You will also need to decide on the structure of the company and the shareholdings. In the UK, there are many forms you can choose from, such as UK established, limited liability partnerships, LLPs, limited company. Each situation is going to be unique to the client, and so it's probably worth kind of discussing further with one of us. You also need to check if there are additional requirements and regulation you need to comply with. For example, if you're selling cosmetic goods on Amazon, you need to provide certificates that they're safe to use. Okay, so the most common found business structure in the UK is a limited company. The main benefits of setting up a limited company are forming a limited company is relatively cheap. It only costs £12 to register a company with Companies House. For example, in Spain, it costs €550 to register. Plus, you need to pay expensive legal costs on top. Then there's low share capital requirements. The minimum share capital required is only £1. Going back to my example of Spain, you'll need to put in €3,000 when you start up a small private company. Limitation of liability. So what this means is, in case your business fails and you don't have sufficient money to pay your creditors, you will not be held responsible personally for the debts of the company. Also, the process can be done online. There's no need to travel to the UK. There's no need to visit a notary, or you don't need to provide notarized documents. And I think a lot of the participants today are overseas. So the director of the company does not need to be a UK resident. So it's not like Singapore, where they have a rule that at least one of the directors who is a local resident has to be a local person. Let's take us. So the company responsibilities. The company will need to have a UK registered office address. If you don't have an office or a place of business in the UK, you can use our virtual office option. I'll discuss the prices and options further down in the slide. The Director's Service Address is the place where all official letters from Companies House are sent to the Director. You could use your own home address, but this will be shown on the public records. Most of our clients prefer using the registered office address as their Director Service Address, as it's hidden from the public. You will need to keep records of the company at the registered office. For example, you need to keep details of the directors and shareholders. If you sell some of your shares, you will need to keep updates of the records, and you should have suitable board minutes drawn up. At the end of every accounting year, you'll need to submit a set of accounts. Even if you have not been trading throughout the year, you will need to still file a set of dormant company accounts. That is to show there have not been any transactions. You'll need to keep accounting records. For example, all the money coming in and all the expenses going out. So this could be keeping receipts, your sales books, or if you have online sales reports, etc., you need to print them off. This is for information to produce your corporation tax or VAT bills. You'll also need to keep your records and paperwork for 6 years in case there's an inspection by HMRC. Okay. So taxes. The tax system is very complicated in the UK, so it's better to get advice from a professional. You need to be aware of the following taxes that might affect you and the company: VAT, corporation tax, employment taxes, and personal taxes. For a UK incorporated company, you will need to register for VAT once you pass the 85,000 threshold. You'll need to start charging VAT on sales, but you will also be able to recover VAT on purchases made. You can also register for VAT before passing the threshold. This is usually beneficial if you're making business-to-business sales, as the other company can recover the VAT. However, if you're mainly selling to consumers, such as on Amazon, etc., you'll either need to put the VAT on top of your selling price already, or you're going to have to absorb the cost yourself, so it's less profitable. So you'll need to check what VAT rate you need to charge for your products. In the UK, most products and services will fall under the 20% category. But for example, if you start selling children's clothes, this is 0 rated. Examples of 5% are very, very limited. So this is on like supplies of energy, light and heat. And I think for most of you, this will not apply to you. So the corporation tax rate is currently set at 19%. This is charged on the profits of the business. So i.e. any sales, less allowable expenses, and whatever is left over, tax is going to be applied, and then you can take out the remainder as dividends. So employment and taxes. If you decide to employ someone in the UK, you will have to deduct national insurances and taxes from your employee's payslip every month, and then pass this over to HMRC. Other considerations is also you need to register for pension contributions, etc. Personal taxes. So if you're a resident of the UK, you'll need to pay taxes on your employment income, savings income, other income such as rental property income, etc. So it starts at 20% if you're below the 45,000 threshold, and then this increases to 40%, and anything above 100,000 in the UK, you'll have to pay 45% tax rate. I think in most of our cases for the listeners today, because you're based overseas, you'll be outside the scope of UK personal tax. Just get a sip of water. So the corporate tax residence for a company is never clear-cut. Companies incorporated in the UK are automatically treated as resident for tax purposes in the UK. The exception is to the incorporation rule is when a UK company is regarded for the purposes of double tax treaty as a resident in another tax territory outside the UK. So one of the many UK tax treaties, you will have to have a look at the tiebreaker clause. So to determine the tax residence of the company, which is resident in both the UK and the other country. In these cases, they will look at many factors, but the main one is where the usual place of effective management is. Things considered are where are the board meetings held and where are the ultimate decisions made to run the company. I think this is probably a bit too complicated for today's topic. So what are the next steps of registering a company? Using OneOffice is quite a simple and easy process. Provided you provide the correct details, you can set up a company in 1 to 2 working days. You can add any other services you may need on the portal, such as accounting, legal, etc. You also need to set up a business bank account in the UK. This is important because the funds need to be kept separate from the owner. We will provide links to register with one of our partners, such as Neat, today. Once these steps are complete, you're ready to start trading. So why use OneOffice? Firstly, there are no hidden fees. We try to quote fixed fees as far as possible before starting the job, so you don't get an expensive bill at the end. We support all types of businesses, whether it be online or traditional, large or small, startups or established businesses. We have local accountants with international experience. We have offices in the UK, Sweden, Finland, Latvia, Lithuania, and also our headquarters in Estonia. We work closely with other local partners in other countries, so we have a vast expertise. You'll receive a wide range of services all in one place. So being the virtual office to set up your company, accounting services ongoing, and also any legal services you may need. So, with a one-stop shop, and you can just come here for all your needs. So the company OneOffice has been around for 12 years, so you've got peace of mind that tomorrow you set up a company and we're not going to disappear, and it's not going to leave you with your work incomplete and you get surprise tax bills. And also the MY1OFFICE platform, which I will discuss in the next slide. The recent launch of MY1OFFICE has been very successful. Customer feedback has been very positive. It provides the business owner with a quick overview of the company, and you can manage everything in one place. You can use our easy step-by-step process to register a company quickly. We also have a calendar feature which will notify you of any key filing dates, but don't worry if you miss these, as your dedicated accountant will contact you as well. You can access all your mail if you are using our post service. So as soon as your mail arrives at our office, this is going to be scanned and it's going to be uploaded to the portal, and then you can view this from any computer online. I think in the future, this is probably going to be accessible on your mobile as well. You can purchase additional services hassle-free using our secure payment processing. In the pipeline, we'll be launching our legal contract translation services. So whether it be employment contracts or service contracts, these can be translated from foreign languages where you fully don't understand the document into your native language. So this is quite an exciting development, and it's one to keep an eye out for in the future. So I'll just quickly discuss and run through some of our most popular packages we offer. So you can set up a company in the UK using our service from as little as £29 plus VAT. This includes the state fee as well. So we provide the use of our registered service office based in the heart of London for 1 year. We have 2 different packages available, the £150 option and the £250 option. You're probably wondering, what's the difference? The key difference is, as explained earlier, in the £250 package, the director's correspondence address, which is either usually the home address, is not going to be shown to the public, and you will be using the same registered office address. So I think a lot of people tend to use this option. So on the other box, we've given you approximate cost of running a trading company for 1 year. So normally you'll have to file a set of accounts after 1 year, and the minimum fee we charge is normally £675 for the annual cost. And so this is to file the company's accounts with Companies House and also your tax return. Also, you could take our other accounting packages starting from as little as £49 per month. So we will do your monthly bookkeeping, and then we're going to ensure that your filing VAT submissions are done on time. Any monthly bookkeeping is done on time, and so you don't miss the deadlines. Okay. So it's worth kind of speaking to our friendly sales team. I've dropped their email address in the left corner. So they're also available on live chat on our website if you want to have any other questions for them. Okay. So thanks for listening for my part of the presentation. And now I'm going to pass it over to Pedro.
Thanks very much, Nav. Just a few seconds while
I'll just do the transition. Yep.
Thank you. Well, thanks very much for that. So I'll just bring up my presentation. Sorry, wrong screen. Oops, 2 seconds. And present. Oh, perfect. We got there in the end. Cheers. So yeah, my name's Pedro Pinto. I head up the kind of growth department at NEET, but also the general manager for Europe. So today we'll take you through an introduction of NEET, what we do, and then we'll cover some of our products. And there's really kind of 4 areas within here is our currency accounts, transfers, which refers to international payments. So it's basically the concept of being paid like a local, integrations, and how we can help automate your accounting and expenses, and also our cards feature that's coming soon in December. I'll then take you through the sign-up process. So basically how easy and simple it is to open a NEET account. So to start with, I'd like to kind of go through with our mission. So NEET's mission is very simple. We want to enable the entrepreneur economy. So we believe that giving access to international trade should be very simple, and it should be accessible to entrepreneurs, SMBs, and young companies without any restrictions. So how we do that is by providing first, like world-class financial services to entrepreneurs. So why does it matter? So as entrepreneurs, our businesses are always in motion. So, you know, from starting an idea to making your first sale, or as many of you on this call may be considering expanding globally. Yet financial services are stuck, slow, broken, bureaucratic. And why does that matter? Because it results in a very poor experience for entrepreneurs and small businesses. High prices and hidden fees eat away at your profit margins, at your cash flow. Slow service means that it takes time for you to be able to open a business account. You have to travel. There's a lot of bureaucracy that stops you from focusing on growing your business, and you're spending time on banking or financial services. And limited customer support. You know, can be difficult to get in touch with your bank account manager, or if you're stuck on a transaction, there's no one there to call when you need it the most. So we feel that we want to change that, and we started to do so. So we understand that entrepreneurs need a financial experience that evolves with them, that's stable but secure, and it adapts as their business do. So this is where we come in. So we deliver transparent pricing, no hidden fees, all of the costs are always upfront. And to help with that, we're also now offering no monthly subscription fees. As we understand that our services are there to help you be profitable and grow your business. We also offer a fully online digital experience. So you can open your account on any browser-supported device. We can do the full KYC from home. No traveling, no paperwork, no bureaucracy. And we have a dedicated support team that's available 24/7 by email, via chat, and we'll actually be launching phone support in the next month. And our services are available to limited companies, sole traders or sole proprietors, and partnerships. And right now, as long as you're incorporated in any of these 15 countries, you'll be eligible to open a business account with us. Obviously, dependent on the type of business, we do have our own kind of risk appetites, but that's probably not too dissimilar to MY1OFFICE. Thank you. So to the next part, I'd like to take you through some of our key account features. Overall, what we offer is the ability to receive payments with dedicated account details for each of those currencies. The currencies that we offer, and we'll go into be more detail, is GDP, so British pounds, euros, US dollars, and Hong Kong dollars. So for each of those different accounts, you'll have dedicated payment instructions that you can share with your customers in order to facilitate bank transfers. You also have the ability to send money to over 20 target currencies across 35 different countries. So these transfers can be made from any of our 4 holding accounts. And you'll be able to convert money between those currencies as well at very competitive rates and low fees. And with our Visa debit cards, you have the ability to spend money online and in person. So we'll go through each of these features kind of one by one. So our kind of multi-currencies, as you can see, a screen grab from our product. You can have each of the accounts with its own balance. And as I mentioned, they're fully dedicated, no different from a kind of traditional business corporate account. Okay. So for the details, in order to receive payments, as you see for British pounds, you'd have a dedicated account number and sort code. For US dollars, you'd have the routing and the account number. For euro, we support the SWIFT and IBAN details. And Hong Kong dollar, we use the account number and bank code. For international transfers, as I said, we support over 20 different currencies and to just over about 35 different countries. So from any of the currency accounts, you'll be able to make payments. So one of our kind of key use cases tends to be for international traders that are doing business between Europe and Asia, in particular China. So this is one of our kind of USPs to reliably be able to transfer money in and out of China, but overall like Asia. Cool. We also integrate with multiple solutions. In particular, we understand that as entrepreneurs and small business owners, you want to focus on your business, not on your expense management or accounting. So we have a native integration with Xero that can help reconciliate all of your expenses and invoices. We also have a partnership with Stripe. So if you want to collect payments, whether for your e-commerce platform and you're using Stripe as your merchant's payment to collect credit cards, those funds would then be deposited or transferred to NEET on your dedicated account, where you can then use it to make payments or to convert. And we also have a partnership with Zegal. They basically provide legal templates and e-signature, if you need to exchange contracts with your clients. But last but not least, we are launching a corporate debit card with Visa, who's one of our partners and investors, which will provide 1% cashback on all purchases. So we see this as a really key feature. The card will be available in US dollars as well as Hong Kong dollars for basically kind of our local customers. We'll be looking to expand on this offering by having additional currencies, including euros and pounds. But initially, you'll be focusing USD. We see this as a kind of global currency, and a lot of vendors initially do receive and make payments in US dollars. Perfect. So for the next few minutes, I'll take you through how you get started with NEET. So right on our website, you can go to sign up, where you'll see this form. So we'll just ask for a few details to identify you as the form filler. You can create a login, which then will enable you to go through and can progress the application should you not complete it in one go. The application takes about 15 minutes on average. We've had people that finish the whole process in 5, some that taken definitely much longer. But it's just what we call a KYC process to basically know your customer. It's a regulatory requirement as a financial services provider. So once you put in your initial details, we'll just confirm your email address. Also validate your eligibility. There are some businesses that unfortunately we cannot onboard. So these businesses can sometimes be referred to as high risk. So normally is either secondhand goods or goods that can be very valuable but hard to ascertain ownership, as well as any businesses that are cryptocurrency related. There's also some countries of incorporation that we are not able to support. Again, this comes down to our risk appetite, but also because some regions are on the banned countries list, so we wouldn't be able to onboard those businesses. We'll then just ask you through some basic information about your company, company members, the business itself in terms of its purpose. You'll have to provide a board resolution that shows the ownership of the different company members. And then we'll just show you through what fees very clearly. As I said, we believe in transparency and no hidden fees as part of our service. Cool. So as part of the company information, would ask for where the company has been incorporated, certificate of incorporation. Obviously, UK companies are fully supported. We would then, for the business registration certificate, which can be uploaded. So all of these can be done digitally
through the form. So as I mentioned before, no need to travel. And then for each of the kind of company members, you can have a single person, if you're like a sole entrepreneur, who fills all of the roles of the form filler, will be the account user, is the sole director and shareholder, as an example. Or you can add multiple members as part of the onboarding. Normally, you only need to provide the shareholders that own 25% or more. If a shareholder owns less than 25, it does not need to be added onto the KYC. So again, the same list applies in terms of the restricted or banned countries, applies also to kind of nationalities. If you have any questions in regards to that, I'll share this presentation and we'll include a link to our FAQs that clearly addresses the restrictions we have to onboard. But yeah, if your business has been incorporated in London, and if it's you're a EU national, there's no problems. Cool. So once you kind of completed or inputted all the information for yourself as the form filler or for all of the shareholders, you can then define the different roles and some additional information around the company. So again, it's very important to understand what industry as well as the kind of type of business. Board resolution can be uploaded, and then we'll take you through a description of our fees. As I mentioned, it's a pay-as-you-go model. So there's no monthly subscription fee across any of our features. The payments are all based on the transaction. So what we are basically doing is passing on some of the costs from our kind of banking partners as part of the transfers. We always try to have this cost as low as possible. Cool. So once the application has been completed, you'll get confirmation from our team and be able to just log in and access the dashboard to begin trading. So collecting payments, making payments through the Neat platform. Cool. So that was just a kind of quick overview of our services. If you have any questions now, we're happy to go through the chat. Thank you very much for your time.
Okay. Shall we start from the top? I think there's a question from Ken. I'll call you Ken. So I think he's got a offshore company based, looking for financial institutes. So with this, you need to have a look. If you don't have an office or you don't employ anyone in the UK, then you will have kind of no tax obligation in the UK. But normally you will have to file something with the authorities. But then you'll be able to get a deduction, for the double tax relief. And also because it's a financial institution, I don't know exactly what you're involved in. So it might be insurance, mortgages, or just like money movement, etc. So there's additional regulation you need to bear in mind. You need to be registered with the FCA. Okay. And so I think it's quite a complicated question. If you want to drop me an email afterwards, we can always discuss it further. Okay, next message. This is one of our existing clients, Santosh. Okay. Shall I take this one? Okay. Is it required to pay the share capital? And how is this done? Okay. So the minimum share requirement is £1. So the thing is, you don't need to actually pay this. So you could leave this unpaid, but in the event of your company closing down, then it will become liable. And how to pay this? So the easiest way, the normal, is generally the shareholder will just transfer the money into the business bank account. But there's also other kind of a more technical ways, which is probably kind of outside the scope of this. So you could do like transfers from other company. You could do goodwill, loans, etc. But they're probably a bit too complicated for the requirements of most of our users. Okay, so how many directors are necessary? So the minimum is 1 director you need in the UK. And previously there used to be a requirement for a company secretary, but that's been removed. So it's just 1 director you need, and it can be based overseas as well. And I think the same, another question. Okay, so this is probably regarding the pricing. So how much is the annual tax account, including the professional service? So generally, it all depends on your kind of case by case. So the price I mentioned, the 675, this is for the annual accounts. So normally you will have to submit the annual accounts after the first year of the company being formed. And also you have to send in the corporation tax return. But also during the period, you might need to comply with VAT, payroll, and so you might use our help, or sometimes some clients, they have their own in-house accounting departments, and they're normally happy to take control of that, and they might just get a bit of consultancy on an ad hoc basis. Okay. So this question from Christian, where are taxes paid if the UK company is not doing business in the UK? And what taxes apply in the UK in that case? So this is quite an open-ended question. So what I'll do is I'll just give you a scenario. So if there's like a Amazon drop seller or someone selling from China, generally, and they haven't set up a company in the UK, generally they will not be required to set up for VAT. However, if you've got a company which is based in Europe, in the EC, and you start selling on kind of Amazon, and you start warehousing the goods in the UK, so there's an obligation to set up for VAT straight away, and there's a nil threshold. And with regards to like corporation tax, so again, this goes back to my earlier point about the establishments. So if the company is established and it was set up in the UK, but the director is living abroad and he manages his company from some other country, generally there's no obligation in the UK, but you have to be aware of the double tax treaties. So you need to kind of report the income in the country you're based in. Okay, so I think, Pedro, this is probably a question for you. Can we open a business bank account online?
Yes, so we're fully online, no need to for branch visits. Again, the restrictions there is where is the business incorporated and the type of business, but provided you pass all kind of eligibility, kind of compliance checks, yeah, you can do so by just going to needcommerce.com. I think the next, that was the question from Emil, from Enric. First question was, are NEET company accounts in the UK covered by the standard FSCS bank account protection guarantee up to 85,000? So the funds, the customer funds, are held in segregated bank accounts at licensed banks. So there's our partner bank, DBS, that's who we work with in the UK. So we don't actually hold. So if anything was to happen to NEET, your funds are completely safe and secure at a licensed bank that does offer those guarantees. Second question was, is it possible to deposit old-fashioned paper checks, the NEET account? This is not something that we currently offer. We had a look at potentially adding to the roadmap the ability to support digital checks, so where you can kind of scan the check, support it, but it's not something that we have available now. I guess for the follow-up, in terms of an alternative, I'll let Nav recommend that.
Okay. So the next one is, if the answer is no to both questions. So generally, I would say kind of for the ease of opening up a bank account for overseas clients, I would probably use kind of these fintech companies like Neat. They're really easy, and the process is pretty instant. You'll get your card bank account open straight away. If you want to use the more kind of traditional high street banks in the UK, so this is generally a bit more stricter, their kind of requirements. So each one is different. Some might require you to put up a lot of money upfront in the account. You might have to deposit like £25,000. For some bank accounts, you're going to personally have to come into the UK to set this up and open it. So it can't be done online. And so I would generally recommend, the best option is kind of using these fintech providers such as Neat. And okay, so the next question. So this is Santosh, one of our existing clients.
Yeah. So I guess if your business is incorporated in the UK or any of the 15 countries that we currently support, unfortunately India is not one of them, but Singapore is, you'd be able to open the account. I guess as a follow-up with regards to zero transactions, so there's no cost to opening the account, so you don't need to make a deposit or provide a kind of share fund, and there is a cost per transaction, so that's how we monetize the accounts.
Okay. Is there a monthly cost, Pedro?
No, there's no monthly cost.
That's brilliant. Yeah. So a lot of existing high street banks, they charge between like £5 to £10 in the UK. Okay, I think this is probably for me. It's Ken again. And how can we show offshore and UK domestic business? So Ken, this goes again, depending on the structure you set up the business. So you could either kind of set it up as a UK establishment, so it'd be kind of part of both accounts. So you'll keep the records of the UK separate, but when you do your non-UK accounts, you will probably merge all the incomes together in the offshore company. Or you could set up like a subsidiary where you're going to have to file the kind of declarations for the UK, and then any taxes you paid, you'll use it as a kind of a tax relief when you remit the money. So what I'll do, I'll drop you my email. I think you got very kind of specific questions. And so if you have any other questions, you can follow up with me.
Cool. I guess the next question by Marilla. Neat offers credit card for businesses having non-UK residents directly. Okay. Yeah, that's correct. So the restriction there, however, is we haven't launched our Visa card. It is actually a debit card rather than a credit card. Initially, that's going to be available for Hong Kong incorporated businesses, so not available at launch for UK incorporated businesses. The nationality or residence of the actual owner or director doesn't matter. The follow-up question was differences between TransferWise and Neat. Interestingly enough, I guess there's a lot of similarities now, seeing as TransferWise primarily focused on international transfers, as they've started also offering the ability to hold multiple currencies, and they have a business card as well. So there's a lot of overlap in terms of functionality. overall is our focus has been on the kind of Asia market and being solely a B2B. So most of it comes down on terms of the level of service that we provide, like 24/7 support, and really our expertise from B2B. But from a functionality perspective, very similar.
Okay, brilliant. So the next question from Christian again. Do you also give legal advice, like how and what to set up exactly to be in line with all the regulation and taxes? Yeah, so we do have a separate legal department at One Office. So they can handle anything from employment contracts up to supplier kind of sales agreements, etc. They can review them. They can draft these for you as well. And so normally our process, you know, you'll kind of contact the sales team and they will refer you onto one of the accountants based in the UK, and we will give you a consultation just to find out, you know, more information, like if you're a resident, etc., to establish that, get some facts off you, and then we'll provide you advice which is in line with the regulations and taxes. Okay. So is there any more questions, or is this? So I think this looks like pretty much everyone. So I'd just like to thank everyone for attending, and also for Pedro as well joining us today. So thank you. Have a good day.
Thanks, everyone. Just a pleasure.